Assalamu alaikum. Alhamdulillah wada. Assalatu wassalamu ala man la nabiyya ba'da. May peace, blessings, and mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be on all of you. All praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is absolutely one and unique. May peace be upon your Prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the continuation of the topic, Al-Quran and modern science, compatible or incompatible, conflict or conciliate. After segment 2, today inshallah I will highlight on this topic in light of oceanology or oceanography and biology. In the field of oceanology, barrier between fresh and salt waters. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran chapter 55, Surah Ar-Rahman, verse number 19 and 20. مرج البحرين يلتقيان بينهما برزخ لا يبغيان. He has let free two bodies of flowing water meeting together. Between them is a barrier which they do not transgress. Here the word barjak means a barrier or partition. This partition is not, however, a physical partition. The word maraja literally means they both meet and mix with each other. Early commentators of the Quran were unable to clarify the two opposite meanings of the two bodies of flowing waters. They meet and mix with each other, and at the same time there is a barrier. Modern science has already discovered that in places where two different oceans meet, there is a barrier between them. This barrier divides the two oceans so that each ocean has its own temperature, salinity, and density. Oceanologists are now able to explain these bars. There is a slanted unseen water barrier between the two oceans, through which water of one ocean passes to the other. When water of one ocean enters into the water of another ocean, it loses its distinctive characteristics and becomes homogenized with other water. In a way, this barrier serves as a transitional homogenizing area for the two waters. This phenomenon is mentioned in the glorious Quran, chapter 27, Surah An-Naml, verse number 61. وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَ الْبَحْرَيْنِ حَاجِزًا, and made a separating bar between the two bodies of flowing water. This phenomenon occurs in several places, including the divider between Mediterranean and Atlantic Ocean at Gibraltar. A white bar can easily be seen in Cape Peninsula, South Africa, where Atlantic Ocean meets the Indian Ocean. When glorious Quran speaks about this divider between fresh and salt water, it actually mentions a forbidden partition with a barrier. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran chapter 25, Surah Al-Furqan, verse number 53. أَوْهُ الَّذِي مَرَجَ الْبَحْرَيْنِ هَذَا أَذْبٌ فُرَاتٌ هَذَا مِلْحٌ أُجَاجٌ وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَهُمَا بَرْزَخًا وَحِجْرًا مَحْجُورًا. It is he who has led three two bodies of flowing water. One is palatable and sweet, other salty and bitter. Yet has he made a barrier between them, that a partition which is forbidden to be passed. Modern science has already discovered that in estuaries where fresh and salt water meet, the situation is somewhat different. Found in places where two saltwater seas meet. What distinguishes freshwater from saltwater in estuaries is a thicnocline zone with a marked density discontinuity separating the two layers. This partition, zone of separation, has a salinity different from both the fresh water and salt water. This situation occurs in several places, including Egypt, where River Nile flows into the Mediterranean Sea. This scientific phenomenon, mentioned in the glorious Quran, was also confirmed by Dr. William Hay, who was an expert in marine science and professor of geological sciences in the University of Colorado, USA. Darkness in depth of the ocean. Professor Durga Rao, who was well-renowned marine expert and professor of King Abdulaziz University in Jeddah, he was asked to comment on the verse number 40 of chapter 24, Surah An-Nur. The verse is Auka Julmatin fi Bahri Lujiyak Shawmazum min Pauki Mazum min Pauki Sahabun Julmatun Ba'duha Falkaba Ija Akraja Yadahu Lam Yakad Yara Man Lam Yazalillahu Law Nuran Famalahu min Nur. Meaning, what the unbelievers state is like the depth of darkness in a vast deep ocean, overwhelmed with below, topped by dark clouds. Depth of darkness one above another. If a man stretches out his hand, he can hardly see it. For any to whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give not light, there is no light. Professor Rao said, modern science has now been able to confirm darkness in a deep ocean with the help of modern equipment. Humans are unable to dive unaided underwater of 20 to 30 meters and cannot survive in a deep oceanic region at the depth of more than 200 meters. This verse does not refer to all seas because every sea cannot be explained as having darkness layered one over another. It especially refers to a deep sea or vast deep ocean. As glorious Quran mentioned, darkness in a vast deep ocean. This accumulated layer of darkness in a deep ocean is the result of the two causes. Cause number one, the light ray composed of seven colors seen in the rainbow. These colors are violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. Light ray undergoes refraction when it hits water. The upper 10 to 15 meters absorb the red color. Therefore, if a diver is underwater of 25 meters and gets wounded, he would not be able to see the red color of his blood because red color does not reach this depth. Similarly, orange rays are absorbed at 30 to 50 meters, yellow at 50 to 100 meters, green at 100 to 200 meters, and finally blue at beyond 200 meters, and violet and indigo above 200 meters. It due to successive disappearance of color, the ocean progressively becomes darker. It means darkness takes place in place of light of layer. Below depth of 1000 meter, there is a complete darkness. Cause number 2. Sun's rays are absorbed by clouds, which in turn scatters light rays, thus causing darkness of layer. This is the first layer of darkness. When light rays reach surface of the ocean, they are reflected by the wave surface, giving it a shiny appearance. Therefore, it is the waves that reflect light and cause darkness. The unreflected light penetrates the depth of the ocean. Therefore, ocean has two parts. Surface is characterized by light and warmth, and depth is characterized by darkness. Surface is further separated from the deep part of the ocean by waves. The internal waves cover the deep waters because deep waters have a higher density than the water above them. The darkness begins below internal waves. Even fish in the depth of the ocean cannot see. Their only source of light is from their bodies. The glorious Quran describes this appeal. Darkness in depth of the ocean covered with waves topped by waves. In other words, above these waves, there are more types of waves found in surface of the ocean. The Quranic verse continues, topped by dark clouds, depth of darkness one above another. These clouds, as explained, are barrier, one over the other, that further cause darkness by absorption of layer of color at different levels. Professor Rao thus concluded saying that it was totally impossible for a normal human being to explain this phenomena in detail in 1400 years ago. This information must have come from a supernatural source. Now, in the field of biology, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran chapter 21, Surah Anbiya, verse 30, وَجَعَلْنَا مِنَ الْمَاءِ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ حَيٍّ أَفَلَا يُؤْمِنُونَ. And He made all the things, all the living things from water. Will they not believe? In this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states that water is the basic element of creation of all living things. Now, modern science has discovered that all living things are made of cells, which consists of 80% cytoplasm, which terms as water. It might be odd for the people at that time, when there was no science to prove this. But modern science has already proved it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says in Quran chapter 24, Surah An-Nur, verse number 45, Allahu khalaqa kulla dabbatin minal ma'i. And Allah created all animals from water. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says in Quran chapter 25 Surah Furqan verse number 54, Allazi khalaqa minal ma'i basharan faja'alnahu nasaban aw siran inna rabbuka kana qadiran. It is who created man from waters, and has he established relationship, lineage, and marriage. For thy Lord has power over all things. It is totally impossible to guess by a normal human being 1400 years ago that all living things are made from water. But science has proved that all living things are made up of water, which the glorious Quran mentioned 1400 years ago through Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's messenger, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, which is strikingly similar to what modern science has already discovered.